allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Just to preface, at the beginning of this meeting, we are 2 members short, as you can see. Sam is not with us tonight, and neither is Henry. Along with that, I do not like long meetings, so we will move this meeting along expeditiously. Okay? Minutes from 10/1.
And also October 13th. I didn't check that.
Okay.
That's from your JOAC meeting.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of October the 1st and October the 13th collectively.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Visitors.
Okay, the first one is Joe Burgett for the Haldeman project, but Mr. Haldeman himself is here.
Joe was a little shorthanded. So I thought I'd take care of my own problem.
You're up.
Yeah. Go ahead. Okay. As far as the, I got a letter through the mail in August, it was August 25th or something, and it said I had to do something by the 15th or so of September. And so I called Lenny Sizer, and he says, I'll call, what's the secretary's name? Helen. I'll call Helen. And that's where it was left. And then Joe called me and said, man, I am shorthanded, so I'll take care of it. So he said, as far as the need for the sewage module, he said that's only for if you do subdivisions or something that you have to run new. We already have a sewer run into that. It's actually 2, but the one that we're using from the house, because we subdivided Sam's commercial property and that property, we combined them both, and we're running off of the house. Now, in 1 year, you can count on both hands how many people ask to use the bathroom. I'm going to say you got to walk next door. Well, I don't do that bad. So, what we're trying to do is clean everything up and consolidate everything. So, as far as a sewage module plan, we're already running, so I don't know what the purpose of that is. Maybe someone can answer my question on that.
Randy?
Well, it's a requirement of DEP that whenever you develop a property, you have to have a proper connection and capacity in the line, conveyance system, and in the treatment plant to make the connection. So you're saying that one already does exist?
One already does exist, and we're using it as a business. So, I mean, as far as a business, you pretty well take care of your business before you go to work. So we're using a whole lot less than what a family would when they lived in that house.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we took over the property, it's like, I don't want to rent that house, you know. I want to use it commercial, so we're using that, and we use it so lightly, so we're using it probably only 20% of what a family would.
Mm-hmm.
We're not bathing or anything in there.
Well, there is still the requirement that the authority has is 150 gallons per EDU. So even if it's under 150 gallons per day, you'd still meet that 1 EDU requirement. But being that it is an existing connection, there wouldn't be any need to do a mailer because it's already existing.
Is the bathroom in the business or in the house?
House.
The house. That was Sam's old place?
Yeah. Yeah, it was just unrepairable.
Right.
And when we took it over, I walked in there and said, no way. So we just go over there when we have to. I mean, the guys, there's ditch behind whatever, but the girls can go over there, but they just don't drink coffee before they come to work.
Is this one property?
It's one property now.
But it has 2 structures on
It has 2 structures.
Okay.
Yeah. The one sort of like, is where the business is running out of warehouse, and the other place was the house. And that's where we get the sewer, our water from, because don't know if anybody knew Sam, but it was really, we fixed it up a lot, put it to you that way.
Well, is it gonna be two structures, separate structures?
Well, it's used as one, it's gonna be just used as one.
Because,
It's already
They
there.
are separate.
what's that?
They are separate.
Yeah. Or there's only one sewer connection? Or there's two sewer connections?
Well, there's two sewer connections, only one's being used.
Yeah.
We're gonna use that one, like Joe had engineered it, we're gonna run that over to the, shop and use that one.
Now, are those metered, with water meters, the actual buildings? Is that what it?
There's no water there, it's just sewer.
Oh. Oh, they're on private wells.
So I'm asking not for the.
I'd have to look at it a little bit. It might be two separate connections then, because it's two separate buildings, even though it's, what do you think, Dennis? Because it's,
Are you gonna, you said the one building's in bad shape?
Well, no, we fixed it up.
Oh, okay.
They just got the house.
There was a fence along from the house up to the road. We moved that over so everybody wouldn't have to look at the house.
Well,
Because I don't want to paint.
I don't know. I mean, if you have the other, or both of the buildings are connected to the sewer?
Just one
It's
is.
just one?
oh, I thought,
The house is connected.
oh, okay.
I misunderstood.
Yeah, that was my question, if they're both connected.
There's no bathroom in your warehouse.
Okay,
None.
all right. That's
Well,
what,
you
that
said
was,
there's a separate, possibly a separate connection, like a stub run or something?
Yeah, it's run, there's a stub there.
But it's not actually physically
But I didn't
connected.
ever hook it up because it's
Right.
just like, well, for all we use it.
I misunderstood.
yeah, I did too.
What do we need to do, right?
I think if you have one connection, then as long as you're 150 gallons per day or less, then that's one EDU.
We wash hands more than
Yeah.
anything.
So,
Since this is a business, and since you do this is non-residential, and since the billing for sewer is done on the basis of water usage,
mhm.
should there be a water meter? Your other non-residential places have one.
That's,
Oh,
Can you think of any that don't? I can't think of any that don't.
they meter the well?
Yeah, they meter the well.
That's where I was
That's
getting
how
at.
Sheets,
Yeah.
that's how Sheets does it, Rohrbus, all of those places.
I guess that would be a requirement.
Yeah.
Beside the resident,
Right.
nothing else.
Yeah, I think, well, that's what we would require everybody else to do, I think, put a meter on
We
it.
put a meter on.
Yeah.
That may be in the rules and
It
regs
is.
too.
Probably
It
is.
Okay. All right.
Is that a sand job?
We supply the meters, I know that. The authority supplies the meters, but,
They have to pay to have it installed.
yeah.
Okay, we supply the meter, they pay to have it put on. There you go.
Okay,
Simple.
all right.
So are you gonna supply a meter?
Yes. The authority usually, for non-residential customers, the authority supplies the meter, but it's up to you to get it installed.
Okay, and commercial, it doesn't, same thing?
Well, that's what we call
Yeah.
commercial. We don't call it commercial because
Are
if
you
you
gonna
have,
drop it off or should I pick it up or?
Well, I don't know what the arrangements on that will be, but probably somebody could drop it off. Then it'll be read once a month. And you'll be charged, as long as you're under the minimum amount, you'll be charged the flat rate just like you are now. If you go over that, then they'll address that
be in
again.
charge now. I don't
But
think.
what we'll do is drop the meter off,
Yeah, yes.
you'll have it installed and let us know when it is installed, and then we'll start reading it. Now, the fellow that normally takes care of this aspect of it is out of the picture for a few months. So I'll probably probably drop the meter off down there at your place, and then you'll let the office know when it's been installed.
So I'll just call you,
No, you'll call the municipal authority office.
municipal authority office.
Yeah, and tell them it's been installed, and then they'll start reading it.
Okay.
You'll have to put a touchpad outside, and then you have to get permission, and of course, they're gonna come on your property to,
Yeah, I'm sure that when.
you know, but, you know, it's nice to know who's coming on and why.
Yeah, I like that too.
Okay.
Means I don't live there. And if that's the case, it said about fees paid, all fees are paid. Up to date.
He gets billed every month, the tap fee was paid a long time ago.
Yeah, but I think that's what the submission of a plan
Oh.
is what that would refer
Right.
to.
We need this first, and then I'm gonna go to the supervisor meeting, get that straightened out, and so we get a plan signed and up to you. I don't know what to do with this.
Your plan for,
The total plan, because you want to, they want it signed off, because I built a plan, or you guys built a plan for me, so they want it signed off, so at the next supervisory meeting, I'm going to, I just want them to drop the bonding, and then after that, I just want to get on with it.
and that's for that, all fees paid, that's part of that.
That's part of that, but we already paid it, it's paid in full.
Okay. We good? Good. So,
The next person is, Barry Rice.
I'm here to see what's going to be done about the wall storage running in front of my house. It's been brought to your attention for 6 months. I was told that the person that's running from hasn't paid it since it's been hooked up in 6 years.
well,
And another thing, we was told that you had to disassemble your old storage, and all you had to do was transfer a pipe in the cellar, hook up the other system, and how it's running out on the street.
yeah, that septic tank should have been pumped. Stone put in it crushed, yeah.
I'm just saying,
I
a
understand.
lot of them wasn't done.
Right, I
And
understand.
he's one of them.
Dennis, what do you think?
Well, it sounds, I mean, there's an enforcement issue here. Now we have a environmental issue. I don't know if does the
Okay,
SEO
are you aware that the SEO has, see, you weren't at our JOAC
No.
meeting. The SEO was, we put the
Okay.
SEO on it. He came back with a report. There are fecal coliforms. And at our one meeting, well, go ahead, you tell him.
Well, I was gonna say, the paperwork is all there in the incoming correspondence, and it has the DEP report in it too, if you wanted to look at that.
The owner was sent a certified letter from the authority saying that he had a certain time to get this septic tank abandoned.
Okay.
He has not yet replied, he hasn't taken the certified letter yet. The mailman has not brought us back the receipt, so he
okay.
has so far refused that. Last
Okay.
Friday, DEP called Ed about it,
Okay.
and he talked to DEP and told them what's been done to date, and right now DEP is happy. They're not, I shouldn't say it that way, but they know that we are working on it. What
So
remains?
DEP is not going to do anything? Is
Not
that
right now. They,
Not right
Mr.
now.
Rice called DEP and DEP called Ed.
Gotcha.
And so they know that we have sent the certified letter. But if he ignores the certified letter, now what?
Well, we're going to have somebody serve him personally, I think.
What was the date on that letter, Sue? I just looked at my stuff now.
See, that I don't know because I don't have a copy of it.
It's in
It's
been at least the beginning of.
Now, I know that the police served letters for Helen.
Okay.
All right. if that's a route that
I mean,
the ability
yeah,
to
a
take.
process server or anybody that could hand it to him, and then we have proof of receipt. Was he given a certain amount of time in this certified letter?
Yes.
Okay.
Not that it's any of my business, but if you need the name of somebody to serve that, I can give you a contact, he'll get that done for you.
I got a question. What for time frame are we saying here that this is gonna be stopped? Or is it going to go on for another year, 2 years?
No, it won't. It won't. Trust me.
Because you'll be lucky you find him serving or whatever you do.
Well, it looks like this letter gave him about two weeks, a little more, 18 days, but he didn't get it yet, so once we get him,
He's got 18 days after that.
yeah, and once he receives it, he's gonna have a couple weeks to deal with it, and if not, then there'd be an action started with the district justice, is the way it would look to me.
Doesn't it have a November date on there, though, of when he's to be in compliance?
Yeah, but he didn't get this, that's the problem.
Well,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
but
Yeah,
I
it
was
was-
saying,
The letter's dated October 15, and he was given till November 3, so that's about 18, 19 days.
but I mean, that deadline is not automatically extended just because you don't pick up a letter.
Well,
Depends what the district justice.
the problem is a practical one. If we go ahead and start a DJ, a district justice proceeding, and then it turns out he didn't have formal notice to cure the defect, we're probably gonna end up starting over anyway. You know, that, it would be better to get him, was he given any other notices about this, or is this?
No, it was just a certified letter, and we were
Okay.
just waiting for it to come back, to get the notice from the post office.
I think it would be difficult, the district justice would find it difficult, I think, to impose a fine if he didn't have a formal notice.
Is he at home all the time? Is he around the area all the time? I mean, I don't know the gentleman, so I can't.
His truck's there and it's gone, and if there's somebody comes walking around, you ain't gonna catch nobody at the house, even if the truck's there, because they won't answer the door.
Mr. Rice, they're there in the evening, my son just moved in.
Immediately, well, he left today at 2,
Yeah,
so there's no one here, but there's lights on.
the kids are
Somebody's in
always
there.
there.
What?
Kids are there after 3, so somebody's there.
I'm saying,
Well,
I'm
they-
saying he's
they
there.
can-
He doesn't have to be.
The process servers.
Somebody's there.
Yeah, or if the police will do it, I'm not sure how that works, but,
Yeah, I don't know.
I can tell
yeah,
you how that
I
works.
feel a little uncomfortable starting a proceeding, because I just think it'd be better to make sure he has this and has a formal notification, that if he's not, doesn't cure the problem, we're gonna move
I'm
ahead.
painfully familiar with how all that works, if anybody wants to know. That's what I do for a living.
I'd
I
have to
think he
look
needs to
into
be
it.
certified.
Yeah.
We need to get it taken care of.
Needs to get,
And, well, the work, please.
I would check with them, yeah, and see if they can do it, if not, we've got a process.
Okay, all right.
Well, how do you let things go like this for 5 years?
I don't know when the authority knows about it, I really don't. It's new to me as of,
I'm paying every month, yet the sewer's right in front of my house. And they haven't paid anything since it's been hooked up.
yeah, there have been numerous,
Start the process tomorrow. Some way, somehow.
Well, tomorrow we can check with the police and see if they can do it. All right, that'll be
They're
the
not
first
allowed to do
thing. If,
They're not allowed to do it?
No, it's civil service, they're precluded by law from doing that.
then
okay,
I can I'll get you some names.
okay, all
I
right.
mean, I can give you
Yeah, go
a
ahead.
person if you'd like.
If you know somebody, yeah.
Okay,
We'll keep in touch with you folks.
I'm just saying, I get
No, I
tired of
understand,
this.
I wouldn't wanna run in front of my house
I
either.
don't think we would either.
And I pay every month, he pays every month,
For a long time.
for a long time.
All right, tomorrow we'll get somebody, we'll look about getting somebody to serve him, and then,
I mean, what can you do? Can you just go in and fix it and put it in his house?
Call him, he can do it.
I don't know that,
That's a possibility. At some point, I may need to look at what the options are. The district justice could find them. There'd be a possibility of some sort of injunction proceeding in Perry County Court, or possibly the authority. Then you're going on somebody's, this is a septic system we have to
Yeah.
take care of.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that's happening.
that was whenever they were transferring between the UCC and the old inspector system,
Then
and,
why is this, where's the sewage is going into the tank?
no, he is
Yeah.
connected, he's connected to the sewer system itself.
Okay,
But
But
the
we-
grinder pump probably broke down, so he just transferred it over to his old septic system.
So we did reconnect it to the old system then?
Well, we don't know that.
Oh, we don't.
It gotta be, or we'll be running out on the street.
Well, it is running on the street, isn't it?
Yes, it
And
is.
that's
Besides rainy days.
when heavy rains, we get heavy rains.
Yeah.
Okay,
Unless it rains a couple hours every day.
okay.
You read that?
We got a service.
All right, we'll start that tomorrow for you.
I sure appreciate something you started.
Keep you informed as to how this process is ongoing. Okay?
I thank you.
Linda Gauss.
401,
Okay,
that's actually
Yeah,
401.
yeah.
that's kind of we like. Bob Johnson?
Nothing is time.
Boy, I'll tell you what. Mr. Ward, nothing?
Oh, well, yeah, I have a couple of questions, if nothing else.
You know, today is, all
I know exactly what today is.
right, let's talk engineer then. What do we got?
Well,
I got, before you start, there was a lot of emails back and forth between, I got copies that Randy got back to your engineer, back and forth, back and forth. And it looks like there's no cohesion here. Okay,
Well, and I'll chime in when needed. I'd like to know, because the only correspondence that I had is when I called Sam about the middle of, first half of last month, and said, where are we at? I haven't got a permit, I don't know. And he said, well, I don't know, let me check and see where the delay is. He called me back almost immediately, within a couple hours. And he said, did you get the correspondence from our engineer? And I said, no. And then I talked to my engineer, Mr. Aiken, and he said we need water usage, current water usage report, which I had Jeff pull that day. I took it up the next morning to my engineer and was told that it would be, immediately done with whatever needs done with, and on to your engineer. I talked to Mr. Aiken twice since then. The last time was Monday of this week. And the only other information I had was that there was some question as to whether or not there needed to be the duplex pump, which we spec through E1 to handle the necessary volume. And there was a question about whether it had to be a quadplex pump, which the indication I got from my engineer was that wouldn't be necessary, and he was going to correspond with, I assume it must be your company, we've not met, but.
yeah.
So I called Sam back. I said, the information has been moved down the line. I did get a copy from your company apparently of a letter the next day that indicated there was obviously some sort of communication that had taken place. And that's where I am. So I don't have a permit is why nothing has taken place yet.
Well, go ahead. Well, there has been multiple conversations between our office and Aikens Engineering. Just to give you, this is a little bit, moved up here, but in my report I said engineer received a sewer plan on October 2nd, 2014. Plan was dated September 15th, 2014. And that was for your property along US routes 1115 in Penn Township. The sewer plan was prepared by Aikens Engineering out of Shiremanstown. The engineer, we reviewed the plan and prepared a review letter email just to expedite things and sent that on October 6th with our comments. So it's been basically almost, a month since we responded.
Is this the like a tick list?
Yeah, there was, I think, like 12 items. I didn't bring it with me.
I didn't know anything about that until the day after I talked to Sam, which wasn't all that long past then. It might have been the 10th. And he said to me that the item, the fact that we needed current water usage, which had been submitted on a couple occasions, on one occasion to the board here, but that was a while back. So we pulled that, and he said that, or at least indicated to me, was going to take care of the majority of the rest of the list. That one thing would answer many of the others, apparently.
Yeah, well, that was the big thing, because what we wanted to know, and it was the same issue here again, we wanted to be able to know what we're pumping into the system.
Sure.
Okay, because I guess we have, 10 EDUs, and based upon the conversation we had previously, 150 gallons per day per EDU. So, but then there was some concern with, an existing trailer park that's no longer there, and lateral connections and so forth, that we might have some infiltration coming from that, which would be in excess of that. So what we looked at was, what is it actually going to be? Is it going to be 1,500 gallons per day, or is it going to be more than that based upon maybe some protracted wet weather periods? So that's why we were talking about metering as well. I had a subsequent conversation with Mr. Aikens and said he gave me, or said he was going to give me 3 months worth of data. And then while we were speaking, I looked up some weather information, and I said, can you give me, I think it was April, because April for that past year was the heaviest rainfall that we had in all the months. So if there was any type of infiltration, it's probably going to show up in that month as well.
Well, nothing would have shown up there. The only information we have is how much water gets pumped out of the well.
Right. Well, what we were trying, this is for the treatment plant flows though, right?
You're asking engineering questions.
Yeah.
I don't.
Well, anyway, what we were trying to do is establish a baseline flow rate and then determine how many pumps you're going to need to keep up with the flow. We had a discussion too that we could put in, Sam Ox and I had a discussion where he said, well, 2 pumps could be okay, but I said, well, why don't we put in a sump for 4 if we need to put the other 2 in, should the flows be higher than what's really anticipated. That way, if you have the sump in place, and then you could always add the 2 pumps if you had to.
Now let me back up
Go
here
ahead.
a little bit.
Go
This is
ahead.
the first opportunity I've had to speak to your engineer. The only information that I was able to absorb from my engineer was the question between a duplex pump and a quadplex pump.
Right.
Which are vastly different costs.
Right.
Which I imagine you're aware of.
Right.
I have not been made aware of till now that putting in the ability to add a pump later or something might be an option, which could be substantially less money.
Right.
I mean, what I came prepared here for tonight, other than being basically unprepared, because I don't have a permit, was to say, can I at least get a permit to put the line in and we can get started on this thing until the engineers can meet on the construction of the pump itself? Because I got JLK Underground calling me, when are we doing this, I mean, I'm ready to do it, but I don't have a permit, so I haven't been able to do anything.
Today, well, anyway, I talked to Akins as of the 28th of October, excuse me, because we talked about the metering capabilities. They were looking into doing that, and they came back with a system that they could utilize. We were in touch with E1, or the Site Specific, who's the rep for E1. And Site Specific was in touch with E1 as the supplier, manufacturer of the equipment. They came back to us and with a recommendation. I passed that along to the authority, and there was no negative comments on that. So I passed that information back on to Mr. Akins. Now, I've been talking to George and Scott. I haven't been always talking to the same person.
I have only ever talked to Scott, for whatever that's worth.
Well, I believe George is Scott's father, and he's
I do know that to be correct.
Yeah.
George is Scott's father.
And anyway, I left a message to advise on the 28th that we would accept that as the metering system. I received an email, I guess it was on Wednesday or Thursday, that they would have something back to us on end of that week, which would have been the 31st. And then I got an email said they would be submitting this, I guess yesterday. This supposedly came in. I haven't actually even seen this submittal since the original.
I tried to call Scott this morning before I went into court. I was in court most all day. To my knowledge, he hasn't tried to contact me back. I mean, it's the same day, so I'm not really making a point out of that. It sounds like we're probably very close on the pump. Whatever final stuff has to happen, sounds like it will happen. In the meantime, is there or has there ever been an issue with the line itself? I mean, can I call JLK and say, let's get this scheduled and get moving?
Well, I think you have to have the plan approved first. I haven't, whatever they submitted the first time back on October 2nd was very preliminary. And what we did in that review and with that list of items that we emailed back, because we were trying to keep this thing moving because we knew of the deadline, a lot of it needed to be set up around authority standards and details and specifications. Now, I haven't seen anything since that original, so evidently that's in this packet here. So we'll have to look at that. And what we would need to do is review it and then say, yes, we're okay with it. And then we would make the recommendation to the authority that, you know, we've reviewed it and it meets the standards and specifications of the authority. And then they would decide whether then to accept it.
All I was trying to do is try to figure out a way to at least...
Right. No, we've been really proactive with this because we know that the deadline was coming up today. And we did not want to be in the position where we were going to be blamed for holding up the process. So we acted pretty much immediately as things came into our office, where it was either phone calls or trading back and forth emails.
Sam did tell me that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that from that point, which I think we're talking about, this conversation was probably like 15 to 18. I mean, it was the middle of the month. Yeah. Because I was getting nervous.
Yeah, I think it was.
I actually called Sam and I said, I don't know that I can pull this off now no matter what happens. I mean, what am I supposed to do? I don't have a permit. And I asked the question, can I bore the line? You know, the question apparently is the pump. And I don't know the answer to any of that. Right. So my position hasn't really changed. I mean, we have, unless there's been some dramatic change, we won't know that until this paperwork is reviewed, apparently, in the cost. Mm-hmm. And we have factored in that It could be this pump, it could be that pump at the very beginning. When we-
Well, here's the thing with this system, all the pumps are the same.
Yeah, it's just a matter of how many and how big.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've
yeah.
had the same company that you mentioned. it's
E1, site specifics to local rec, yeah.
Yeah, I've talked to them, the engineers talked to them, so I'm familiar with,
Mhm.
I don't begin to understand what they're telling me, but I get it. There's 1 pump, 2 pumps, 4 pumps, 6 pumps, you know, and a container.
Yeah,
probably
it's a
the wrong
sump,
term,
it's a
but
sump, yeah.
There's a tank.
There's a tank.
basically, That is either 500 gallons or 1,000 gallons or
Right,
whatever.
right. So, and that's correct. It's the same pump, it's just a matter of how many go into that arrangement. And that's why we originally looked at this as a quadplex system, and we had site-specific involved when we were designing the force main for you to connect into. So they were involved with that process. So it only makes sense that they be involved in connecting you up. And when we looked at it and they gave us the recommendation, they were recommending a quadplex system, which means 4 pumps in the sump. So what happens is again, we were looking for flow data to say how many pumps are going to do the job. Back on October 20th, I had a phone call to Scott Akins about the flow data, and he says he's still working on getting flow data. That was October 20th.
When the conversation took place with Sam was the first I knew of the flow data, and I got it the next day.
Yeah.
Which I think was
3 months.
We took 3 months.
Yeah, and then I think I asked for the 4th month after I think I might have talked to Scott or George, I'm not sure. And I said, can you look at the most heaviest rainfall month to see if it has any impact on that data? That's what we were trying to arrive at, to see if there was any infiltration in the sewer lines as a result of, high precipitation. And I think in that month it was like 4.1 inches or something like that. But for April and everything else was less than that in the other months. That was
The trailer park lateral, you brought that up, that has been disconnected.
Okay.
And when this project takes place, it has been disconnected where the trailer park used to be and capped. It's probably, 100 feet, 150 feet. But when we go into that, as the plan is designed, the manhole, I don't know what you call it underneath the manhole, but the collection point where all the pipes come in, that pipe that's existing, it's capped on the other end, that park's been disconnected. That pipe's gonna be completely severed and, sealed, whatever the hell they put in the bricks down there. So that part I know is not gonna be an issue, because there's nothing gonna be coming in.
Randy, how long is it gonna take you to review that?
Oh, we'll have this in the next couple of days. Yeah.
What's our-
We'll make a point to get this looked at.
Is it
You get
possible?
to us before.
Yeah, I'll try to get it to you before Monday. I'm going to look at it tomorrow and
And we can make a decision.
Friday. And you have your meeting Monday night, right? So that would give me Monday morning to Monday
Okay.
afternoon.
I guess the line act question's a moot point then.
There's only one other thing, Mike, that I was just handed, tapping fees. Are they paid in full?
No, they're not paid at all, because the meeting we had over here before, some months back, I explained that the financing situation, and Henry and whoever else was here, said that the township would be willing to put a lien on the property and finance the tapping fees or something if I could move forward with this and privately fund it.
I'd like to find that in the minutes, I don't believe so.
But it was discussed, because I said I would try to go, I came in and said, we had all the financing in place. They came back, said they needed a phase 1 environmental study, which was never required. It was a substantial amount of money. We weren't gonna spend $20,000 to borrow that kind of money. I was gonna go to a different lending institution, which we did. As opposed to, I brought the documents of the loan documents and everything in. And the authority said, see what you can do, come back to us. I did. I said, we can fund the project internally. I brought a check down for the $2,500 for the engineering review or whatever.
Escrow.
I'm sorry?
That's escrow account.
Yeah, the escrow account. And my understanding was we were gonna move forward with this and then figure that out, because we all had to get this done. But I don't have $30,000 in
Well,
addition to the cost of this project.
On the 20th of October, Sam's conversation to us after he had spoken to you said that he also told you that the municipal authority does not issue a connection permit until the connection fees are paid.
I did have that conversation with Sam, and I told him the same thing I just said here.
And that's part of the rules and regs.
And, well, they said at that meeting that it was not unprecedented, it's been done before.
When has that been done before?
I don't know.
It should be in the minutes. I mean, I'm not making it up.
It was discussed at a meeting when I remember him
We're in
bringing,
the other room.
I remember him bringing it up saying, could this be a possibility, but I don't, you
I
know,
don't
it
remember
was
that being
never,
approved.
it was never approved. Because there would be, if there was a motion, it would have taken a motion, and it would have been in the minutes.
Yeah, this goes back, way back to 2008, when I stood down on the property with representatives of this authority and was told there was no possibility of public sewer. And we went in there and upgraded that entire plant after being told we'd never be able to hook the public sewer. And then this all happened. And we went and, applied for the loan, were approved, and I brought that to the attention of the board. And my understanding was we gotta move forward and get this system in, get the plant decommissioned, and then we would have to figure that out, and if push came to shove, there'd be a lien on the property until it was paid.
Okay, I'll tell you what we can do. Randy, you're gonna have that ready for Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And in the interim, we will look into the minutes concerning that for you, Mike. I don't wanna drag this out, because I think we're just going in circles right now. That's what we'll do, and, once we get Randy's report, we'll put that all together, check the minutes.
And you'll want to check the subsequent meeting, because I came back and said we were unable to do this, but we were able to internally put in what we believe is enough money together to do the project itself. And apparently the secretary recalls that.
So what you're saying is you can pay a monthly, you can put the system in, you can pay a monthly rate, but you can't pay the upfront requirement for.
Well, that's all still in process. I mean, borrowing commercial money, I don't know if anybody's aware of this today, is a complicated thing. And we still have in process trying to get all this loan stuff put together so we can refund the personal monies that are being put in, pay the connection fees, and put the whole thing to bed. But in the meantime, we had gotten with the engineer, got with the E1, got with all these people and tried to put together, here's the probable low point, here's the probable high point. Can we put this much money together and move forward with this thing to get the DEP issue settled?
I will research the minutes for Monday.
Okay, and we'll wait for you, Randy, to give us a gauge or whatever,
Yeah.
and then we'll handle the money.
Should have something for you Monday.
Okay.
Okay?
After Monday.
After
Monday.
After Monday, yes. Anything else, Randy, on this? That's where we stand? Okay,
That's the visitors then.
I'm sorry, Sue?
That's the end of the visitors.
Okay, my hearing aids don't work, I'm sorry.
That's all right, my new braces don't work.
Yeah, okay. Okay, I think I have a little one. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You bet. Back to you, Randy.
Okay. Okay.
Kerwin.
Everybody's got a copy of the report that I put together? Okay. Well, we're down one of the three items. So I have just the Sunshine Hills project and the Curlin project to go over. The first being the Sunshine Hills water treatment and storage project. All the land development plan, E&S, stormwater, stream crossings have all been revised and resubmitted. Excuse me, all except for the land development plan. The E&S, the stormwater and stream crossings all been resubmitted, excuse me. From what was done originally, there was a stormwater management review conducted by the township engineer, which we received as of October 28th. So what we did is we took the county's comments with the township engineer's comments, acted upon those, and then made the resubmission to the county and the township. That was the set of plans I gave you. That's the township set, so if you could just make sure Helen Klein Peter received that.
Okay,
I'd appreciate that.
yes.
But we delivered or mailed the plans to Ritu, the township engineer, and the Perry County Conservation District for the stormwater revisions. The Penn Township Board of Supervisors held a public hearing for a conditional use application for the authority's water system upgrade project. The reason being is the property is presently used for the water system, but being that there's such a vast improvements, we now had to reapply for the conditional use. From what I was informed, I did not attend the meeting, but that conditional use was approved, okay, by the supervisors. Again, we readdressed the stormwater comments. That's the next item. Upon review and approval of the stormwater plan, what we're going to do is then we're going to address the land development plan comments and resubmit those for the Planning Commission to review. But we don't want to do that until we get all the approvals where we know we're okay. There were a couple items on the land development plan that were listed, such as buffering and screening. We'll have to address those to get the plan approved. There was also some requirements on curb and sidewalk within 1,000 feet, and I don't think we are. I didn't measure off the distance. The only place I saw was in the borough itself, I believe, on North High Street. That's the borough, correct?
Yeah.
But I think that looks like it's in excess of 1,000 feet. So I wasn't even going to apply for a waiver or a modification request.
I think probably it's a good idea to ask for a waiver.
Okay, go
of
ahead.
those. And the planning commission
We'll grant that.
but we would
Oh,
recommend.
make a recommendation. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, make a recommendation. Yeah, because the Board of Supervisors
But you
only.
need to ask for the variance as a matter of record so that we could
Okay. Because
keep everybody on.
I was going to go out or have it measured off to see if we were within 1,000
It's not
feet.
necessary.
Okay, all right.
I don't feel that that's necessary.
All right. Then the next thing is we had a meeting between a couple authority representatives and the certified operator on October 17th to discuss the project, to go over some drawings and specifications, to review the project, to say this is what we've come up with. We left those plans in the possession of the authority for you guys to look at and review. So we're kind of like in the comment gathering phase. If there's any changes or modifications that you guys would like to see, we can do that prior to advertising. We're going to look for you guys for some guidance. We even asked some questions about maybe doing some designs things as far as providing what's called restraint joint pipe versus like a concrete thrust block design, where we thought that might be more advantageous because it's a better system. The integrity of that system isn't as compromised as somebody would dig up the line behind our line and compromise the thrust restraint in the line. The thrust restraint might be a little more expensive than the concrete thrust block system, but the thing is it's going to go in easier and faster. So what we spend in materials, we might be saving in labor. So we think it might be almost a break even. But we do feel it's a better system, but we haven't received any comment on that. I think Henry was maybe going to look into that. Okay. So those are some of the things that we have out there. I did receive a call from Amy Davis asking us when we were going to possibly be ready to advertise. And then she told me she would forward some documents to me, because we have to have it in their format on the front ends of the contracts. The contract documents, such as like the agreements and the general conditions and all that good stuff.
Do we have an official letter from those folks?
I haven't seen anything.
I haven't
No.
seen one. What the hell she?
No,
Well-
the last thing, she just sent me an email, which I forwarded to you gentlemen,
Yeah.
and just saying that she's been in touch with Randy. We
Yeah.
didn't have the contract, but you still had to go ahead to start or something. I don't remember.
That's what she told me, and she said she possibly may even attend tonight. And I said, well, why don't you call the authority and, make those arrangements? But I haven't seen anything.
It's not signed and it's not, I don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
So she was asking me when we could be ready, but I think what we talked about, kicked around a little bit, was maybe after the first of the year, because then we'll be advertising, accept bids, then we'll be ready for the construction season to start late winter, early spring, and then we'll have till like October, November of the following year to get everything up, and I think that would be plenty of time. So, I mean,
actually, this comes down through the county commissioner, so we should probably be getting a letter from the county commissioners.
well, that's what
Should be from DCED, this one, right?
Yeah.
It's not gonna-
Because this is the
it's not
state
gonna come
one.
down through the county commissioners?
No, but they, no, it didn't. The state, this was a state
Yeah, I think it was
CDBG
yeah.
grant. This was DCED.
mhm,
We need to get a contract from them
yeah,
with a contract number and the whole business.
right.
Yeah, we need a letter from them that we actually got.
But we also need one from this, you're right, from the commissioners, because we got 2 grants from them
That's
also.
right.
So,
So anyway, I did receive that phone call, just wanted to bring that to your attention. I didn't act on anything because I thought, you guys need to probably give us the go-ahead to do, before, authorization to proceed before we do anything. And again, she said she may attend tonight. Evidently, she's not here. She said she would forward me some documents for the upfront documents to be in their format, which we have to do. So anyway, we haven't received that either, so.
is
Randy,
Dennis,
excuse me a second.
Go ahead.
You, make sure I understood. Construction to start early 2015.
Yep,
Be
that's what
ready to go October 2015.
that's what October,
Well, you said the following year.
yep, end of October, beginning of November, I would think. 9 to 10 months, we should be good.
Okay, well, but if we start the beginning of October, at the January 2015,
Mhm.
what you said was be ready to go by October and November of the following year.
Mhm.
That would be 2016. I want to
No,
make sure
No,
that
no,
we
no.
are not on board with 2016 and.
no, it's
everybody-
2015.
Okay.
Yeah,
fine.
yeah, we're looking 9 to 10
I
months.
know it's only semantics.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
You can't go.
No, we're
down
looking
that
probably
road.
9 to 10 months. We did a similar project. They put it in like 7 to 8
Fine.
months. And what we would do is if we advertise like January accepted bids, end of January, beginning of February, we then make the award mid-February timeframe, and then what it's going to do is it's going to allow them to do the shop drawing process where they gotta, because a lot of these materials, the equipment, the treatment equipment's going to take so many weeks for the shop drawings to be turned around, the water storage tank. So we might not be building anything at that point or breaking ground, but they're going to be getting themselves in a position so when, March comes around, they're going to be able to break ground and start working right away. So, if they had March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, that's like 8 probably good months of construction time. Yeah. So,
To the other board members that weren't there at the impromptu meeting, Elmer, Hattie, and I, and nobody else could be there because of a quorum. So questions that you or Jim might have, I would be glad to do the best I could. And I'm sure Elmer would do the same. As far as the piping in ground, that went boom for me, right over the Henny. So you're going to have to press him for a reply. Now, Elmer may have a grasp on that. the thrust blocks
Yeah.
and the different grips. I understood what he was talking about.
Yeah.
But to say whether I thought one or the other is a good idea, I never.
Yeah. And
I
feel,
understood the
yeah.
concept.
And feel free to call me too, if you have any questions. I'd be more than happy to take your phone call and see if I could answer it over the phone, or if you even want me to come up and explain something to you. Because we went over a lot of information. We flew through it in several hours, you know. But you do have the plans if you want to look at them. If there's anything that comes up. Now, you're going to get back to me about the chemical deliveries, but remember about...
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I haven't had a chance to
Okay.
meet with that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm still,
No, I'm just...
that's not gonna hold up anything.
No.
It's gonna be a matter of how far we pour concrete to
Yeah.
make this work. So nothing's gonna change in the plans,
Right.
except maybe 20 square feet of concrete,
Yeah.
more or less.
Yeah. So anyway, those are just some of the little things that are out there, and once I get some final direction, we'll just dot all the I's and cross all the T's, and pretty much, well, I gotta redo the front end documents now to CDBG, Department of Economic Community Development Standards.
CDBG,
Yeah.
We're sure that we got that, right?
Well, that's what I was told.
And that's what we were told.
But I haven't seen any-
Dennis aware of that. Can you make that public now? Now that Amy said it can go public, and now that it hit Penn Live, can it be made a public
I want to see a
announcement?
signed
In
letter
case Dennis doesn't know.
by somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be with him live.
Well, I understood that there was going to be some subsequent meetings that we would have to attend, I guess, with you guys, for you to sign the letters and things. That's what I was told. That was my
The
understanding.
email from Amy made it sound like it's a go.
Well, that's how she talked to me too, and I was like, really? I said, I thought there was going to be more to this than what you're telling me. So,
I would agree that we need to see something,
yeah.
because it bugs me because of the survey situation. You know, it went on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And on. I'd rather not, you know,
Well,
put the cart before the horse.
Do you want to, he said about do you want to give him the go-ahead to advertise? He said about he doesn't want to proceed without a go-ahead.
well, we would advertise, probably start advertising in December. You know, probably like have 3 to 4 weeks advertisement with like an early January bid opening, and then we could, you know, open bids.
I'd like to see a full board.
Yeah.
Let's ask Amy to come down and meet with us. I think we need to have a meeting with her. I really do. I'm uncomfortable with this business.
So,
Could we make contact with her for Monday evening? I mean, could she
Whatever.
give us something concrete by then? I mean, if this is a go.
yeah. The sooner we know it's.
She called us and said it was, you know? She did call us and say it
I
was.
saw the email.
And then, well, that was before, we got called, and then you guys all got the call. And then, you know, at Penn Live got it somehow from one of their meetings.
I don't believe anything on Penn Live. Sorry.
We'll call her.
Everything might be all right, but, you know, I'd like to see a signed letter by some official that we have $500,000.
Okay. All right. I have a note. Well, Karen was going to call her today, and then we decided we'd wait because Amy said that she was talking to you, and we thought you'd have all kinds of stuff to bring, and we thought we'd wait
No,
until see what you-
I was just told the affirmation, go ahead. I'm like, wait a second, isn't there more to that? She said no. I'm like, really? I was like,
So we'll see if she can come
Yeah.
Monday night.
but she had said maybe she would show up tonight, and I said, well, you better call the authority office.
And she may have, but we have strange hours over
Yeah.
there, you know. So
Yeah. And that was the last contact I had with her.
all right.
So.
Okay.
And,
I'll take care of that tomorrow.
Thank you, Sue.
and that was on Thursday. She said, go with bid package. That's what she told me.
Well, she's in a position. Yeah, it's nice to think so because she's in a position to know, obviously.
All right, the next item on my report is the Robert Curlin sewer plan review. Engineer received a revised sewer plan, last revised October 16th, 2014 for the Robert Curlin property located along 1620 State Road in Penn Township. The plan was prepared by Act One and Associates out of Harrisburg. We reviewed the revised plan and prepared a review letter dated October 20th back to Act One and the authority. Based on the revisions, it was determined that the plan was acceptable and is in conformance to the authority's standard specifications. And here's where it said, the authority has been requested by Act One to provide a capacity letter to Penn Township for inclusion in the sewage application mailer. That's what this package is here. They're asking you, but it says, attaches the revised information for your records. Please forward the application mailer, the allocation letter, which needs to come. You're telling them, this Penn Township, that you have the capacity.
The transmission lines.
In the conveyance and in the
convey-
treatment plant.
Okay.
And then also part of that is the PNDI, that's the Pennsylvania Natural Diversity Inventory that goes along with that application, and a location map. So they're just saying, can you take this information and give it to the township?
Okay.
And
Yep.
and along with the letter. So that's what you're going to need to provide on your letterhead.
Right.
Okay, so this is really for you guys. Okay? And it's kind of self-explanatory if you just read that down there. They're telling you what you need to do.
Is that a letter that Karen could sign, since Sam's on leave right now? And is not in the office, or should we bring, just call Elmer or somebody to come in and sign it?
You probably should have an authority member sign it, I would think. That'd be
Okay.
best.
All right.
I think that's not a problem.
All right.
And as long as it's on your letterhead, we sent you a letter saying that we reviewed it from the conveyance and the treatment capacity standpoint, and we believe that there's adequate capacity. We recommend, make a recommendation to you guys.
Yeah, I just didn't see that letter, so.
But it was dated October
Okay.
20th. If you need another copy of that.
No, it's all right. It's probably in the folder there.
Yeah, I can get that for you. So that should take care of that plan. And the ward plan, which we discussed, we'll take a look at that today, or tomorrow and Friday, and get something back to you for Monday. Yeah.
Okay. Is that it?
I think so.
Thank you, Randy.
Is there anything else, or? No?
Anything? Susie?
Not that I know of.
You good? Thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Operators report, DMR said.
I'm here to answer questions. I don't have any comments.
Okay.
If you have questions about the DMRs, feel free. The other thing I'm going to try to do is answer any questions you might have about Sam's report in lieu of him being able to be here.
Yeah.
Because I have knowledge of some of the things. If you have questions about any of those items, I might be able to answer them for you.
That was coming up next. I was gonna ask you if you wanted to comment on anything. I read down through this, the books.
As far as I know, everything on there is relative. Sometimes when you know what's going on, it appears very simple and straightforward. When you read it on a paper, it's not so straightforward. So I'm just looking for questions. Everything else is pretty well. I'm not quite sure with all the septic tanks where we stand because I wasn't directly involved in that. But I do know we need to pursue the one with Rice. DEP did call me, as Susan told you.
Right.
As the operator for the authority, I answered the questions as best as possible, and they seem to be satisfied that we were pursuing this. I think Susan sent him a copy of the registered letter that was mailed, sent DEP a copy. I was requested by our sanitarian, which is all from DEP, to let him know what the outcome of tonight's meeting was in regards to that. So tomorrow I will give him a call and let him know what you're doing and that you're going to pursue can't think of when you have a
Yeah, the man didn't pick up his,
hand-delivered.
the
served.
certification notice
Served.
because he hasn't picked it up from
Okay.
the post office, yep.
So I'll convey that, and if he has questions, I'll certainly get a hold of Dennis or whoever we need to get a hold of with those questions. Molly?
Now, question, the next to the last item there with Mr. Noss, is he willing to work with us to, does anybody know if he has information? I mean, is he going to share that?
I'm sure he would share it.
He has
I was there when Sam called Earl and left Earl a message to call him back about it, but, you know, what might have happened, I don't know.
I'm just thinking if he has that information and he can share that with us the same way with Brad, I mean, that's gonna save an awful lot of
Well, Brad did come in
Mm-hmm.
and gave us a list. Franklin came in and just started rattling off the top of his head. And then we gave Franklin the rest of the addresses and names, and he was going to take them home and see if it rang a bell to him, you know. Because he said once he knew where the address was, it might trigger whether or not he had actually been there for the inspection. But it did turn out that a lot of people were calling saying that Franklin was there. And when Franklin, if they said that, then we took them at their word.
Are we still requiring the proof, like the pumping certificate, or?
Right now, it's just kind of, I don't know. I think right now the issue has just, because that first day was awful. More harassment than Karen should have ever had to be subjected to. So let's get a list of who we think is still out there and then go from there, okay?
Because I'm just thinking, I mean, we asked for that proof, that was how
Right,
many years ago?
and nobody's given the proof, even the ones that didn't call.
That would be hard to come up with.
Well, Mr. Moss called and said, I can't give you the proof, I don't have it, I know I did it, I don't remember who did it. He said, I pay all my bills, but I'm not going to dig up my yard.
Yeah.
So,
Because I had seen that in some of the correspondence that, we would send them the letter saying that, we're not sure if this was done, so could you provide us with?
right.
And, I mean, if I got that letter, it'd be like, that went out years ago.
Yeah, I'd be the same way as
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Yeah.
Let me
Keep
put on
records
the
for 7 years and then they get shot.
Let me put on the to-do list.
We were one of the ones that got the letter,
You did?
and Franklin Arden was there for the inspection, and Baker's is the one that pumped our
Yes.
septic out,
He did mine too.
but he's not.
Yeah. I know that's gonna be a tough nut to crack, I think, in a lot of cases. I really do.
Well, when Franklin said he had done it, and he gave Irene the paperwork, and I've torn the files apart, and I just don't know where they are. I really don't.
Are you talking about pumping septic tanks?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
If he could contact who he thinks did the work, they'll probably have a record of it.
Well, that's true, but see, it wouldn't be him, it was every owner contacted somebody different.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't understand, because whenever I call my guy, they'll say, oh, the last time you did yours was
Right.
4 years ago, and they got a record, who.
But a lot of times the plumbers, whenever they hooked up in Perdix, they had their plumber, whoever did some of them did the work for them, and like Mr. Moss said, I don't remember who did it.
And it could have been 5, 6, 7 different pumpers.
And now, one of the biggest pumpers in the area is out of business.
Who's that?
Baker's.
Oh, okay,
I mean, there's trucks around with the name on them, but it's not Baker's anymore.
okay,
So you're
Can't count on
completely,
them having records.
right.
you're completely against a hard place to try to get Baker's to tell you who, what, when, and where.
I mean,
I'm gonna ask Karen to give us
Unfortunately, but that's the case.
an update.
okay. Do we need Randy anymore?
That's supposed to know. Okay,
Yeah.
night, folks, thank you.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank
Very
you.
much.
We'll
See
see
ya.
forward to your information on Monday. Yeah. All right. Master meter report?
I'm gonna go to, if it's it's all right with everybody, unless you have something else you think I could contribute.
I'm sorry.
I said I want to go too, unless
Oh.
there's something else you think I might be able to contribute.
Looking down through here,
No.
I think you're good.
Okay.
What to- Supervisor's report, anything on it?
No, it wasn't anything.
Perfect.
Customer 1152 has another month, so nothing's changed there.
Who was given another month? My hearing.
1152.
Oh, okay. My hearing's going bad.
That's right.
That's about it, huh?
That was it.
Okay, see, thank you. Dennis, how we doing?
All right, I brought up 3 more execution documents for sheriff's
You
sale.
can put this on your desk where I was. That's the word.
Susan will get up, or Karen will get up to the courthouse in the next day or two. They are 163, the bid one, 940, and 949. Number 1005, I was going to do, and then found that they're already on the January list by bank foreclosure. So let's see what happens as a result of that one. And we have 2 that were previously filed for the January sale, which are number 1159, that we've talked about tonight already, and 1024. A couple others that are fairly large on here are people that are working with us, with Karen in particular. So I may have a couple more that I'll file. That we have, let's say we have six underway that we either filed or have an interest in. And a whole slew of liens that I brought up to be filed today too. I think there's 17 of them.
How many?
17.
That's the top 3 checks that are laying in the check folder. I got a call today to do those. They're not on today's list, but if you sign them and whatever, they'll be on next month's list.
I don't know what's gonna happen with 163. I hope that gets turned around. I know the bank is very interested in, the status of it, so I'll keep in touch there.
Now, they'll do that along with number 800, right? They'll get their water and their sewer.
Yes.
Okay.
Just get that in this check.
Yeah. Doesn't take long to get right back up there where it was. Jeez. I think that's really about all I have for tonight.
You're all right, Dennis.
We'll see what we got.
Okay, sir.
There'll be some action one way or another.
Thanks, Dennis. Treasurer's report.
All right, you have the delinquent report there.
Right.
Okay.
I have a question on there.
Yeah.
Number 43.
Okay.
Are they still being billed monthly?
Yes. Because somebody's living there.
Right.
I don't know how. I don't
Well,
think there's electricity.
There's no electricity.
I don't know. Let's put it this way. Nobody told me to stop billing them, so yes, they are getting billed every month.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
That'll be followed up.
The only people that aren't being billed right now is Curly Sigler, the house that burned on Valley Street,
Okay, yeah.
and 1152 State Road. I think they're about the only 2. Because of the fire abatement, because there's no building there now. I've just frozen her account at the balance she owes.
Okay.
And the same way with Curly, whatever his last name was, I forget now.
Yeah.
On 43, since you brought it up, that was one that I was going to proceed on, and then I decided to write to the, as a mistake, to the attorney who represents the person representing the state, so that letter went out today. We'll see what I hear back from them. I have a feeling there's cash flow issues probably with the estate. I wanted to at least give him an opportunity to look at it with them, and then we'll see where it goes.
Invoices.
I don't see anything unusual there. I'm returning Mr. Morrison's escrow, there's $40 there.
Okay.
Nobody has any bills. I checked with Dennis, he doesn't have anything outstanding, neither does the engineer. Other than that, you can look over and see if there's anything. I don't see anything large except for, well, the engineer bills, but a lot of that is the engineering work for your water project. So.
Not too bad.
Just a question. There are two, and I understand what they're for, there are two entries there for a microvac for testing. This testing that was done besides the regular treatment plant testing, is that a cost that can be passed along to the homeowner?
Is that the one you're talking about, 1109? I don't know that we got a bill for that.
Well, when we do, because we will.
Okay.
Is that something that, I mean, why should
Why should we
we
pay
eat the cost of that for someone who's non-compliant? Just something to think about.
That's the one we were just talking about, Dennis, the man who has the sewage running. Mike Reback, the SEO had Mike Reback do some testing. Now there's going to be a bill for that. We haven't gotten it yet.
Oh, I see.
She wants to know if we can pass it along to him.
Well, I think so.
Obviously, we'll pay Mike Reback and then rebill him.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Now, what are the chances?
Yeah.
When I get that bill, I'll see that it gets flagged.
Yeah,
Okay.
Separately.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
That's a good catch, Stacy.
Something to keep in mind.
Yeah. Every penny. Anything else on there, guys?
I make a motion the orders be drawn, the bills be paid. $55,839.84.
Second.
Motion is second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Financial report.
Well, I'm just looking to see if there's any, if you have any questions, let me know. There's still I put on the back down at the bottom, still to be paid in 2014. Ed told me that, and I remember that last month, I think you had given him the go-ahead for some kind of new pump, and he said that was going to be $5,000. And I don't know what's happened with the borough from last month's JOAC meeting. I don't know what's going to happen with that $79,000 bill and what they did and what you're going to do, but if so, our share would be about $25,000. So
Yeah, we had a meeting about that last night. Henry, myself, and 3 from the borough.
Okay.
The borough's gonna ask their attorney to look at the contract, because that cost is about half of the total project. If you look at the total project, and that's totally unacceptable. So they're gonna look at it for, what am I looking for? Anyway, have the attorney look at the contract, not in depth, because they're gonna spend a lot of money on it, but see if they can find something in there.
okay.
And then possible, well, then they're gonna turn it back over to Penn, the engineer, Ron Brown,
Okay.
and have him work on the contractor and see if we can get it down. which I think might be a tough nut to crack based on our last meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But doing some math, we might be able to coerce them into some percentages off on each of the 6 items that are in question. So, we'll see.
All right.
We'll know better Monday.
Okay, all right, so,
Okay.
okay.
All right. Anything else, guys?
Just one question on that, which has nothing to do with the treasurer's report, but since you said about that, with the 6 items, are they still holding the municipal authority accountable for all 6 items? Because we had said that only issues number 1 and 5 really pertain to us.
They're not holding the gun over our heads, put it that way.
But they'd really like it if we helped to pay their bill.
They would, that's the inference, and that's the percentage that we're talking about. That we could, if we could reduce it to a tolerable thing. It's still up in there for negotiation, I'm sure. I think Henry would like to see the water side of the town pick up the bulk of it, because that's where the problem was.
Right.
But
Yeah,
again,
70% was water.
yeah. Because like I said earlier, if they'd have thought about it, they'd have put a new water line in there for a whole lot less. But anyway, we'll know more come Monday.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, motion on the financial report.
I'll make a motion, we accept that subject to audit.
Second.
And I'd like to add now something, oh, I'm sorry, you have to take your vote, never mind.
All those in favor of accepting the financial report, say aye. Opposed?
And since I didn't put it on D and it didn't get on the agenda, at the back of your pack you find the new 2015 budget. If we can discuss that maybe Monday or at least,
Okay.
you'll see that we're calling for a $116,000 deficit. Anyway, Monday we'll discuss it. What you have there are the budgets for all of the different plants, your 3 sewer plants plus your water. Everything is totaled on the front page.
Okay.
This is your operating budget. The very last, well, the 5th page in or whatever would be your the capital reserve. Ed has given me 2 things he'd like to put in for next year, but I'm not sure what the authority wants to budget for capital reserve, so I wrote down water upgrade, maybe Burley Road, Market Street, but we can talk about that on Wednesday.
Okay.
Okay? So that's all I have.
That works, so
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
It was a little tough. Ed and I had to guess for Sam for some of it, but that's okay.
You have a executive secretary's report?
Did you see anything in there?
No.
Okay,
No.
all right. No, we don't.
Okay. Thank you. Then the next item is the JOAC meeting on the 10th at 6:30 here. Incoming and outgoing correspondence, that's in the files, so forth. Don't know about that. Periodicals are around. Old business, CDBG funding update. There is none.
No.
Ownership of the grinder pumps. A little hazy there.
Might as well table that till everybody's here.
I think so.
And that's been on.
Yeah. And the 1109 State Road, I think we've got that pretty well taken care of. New business 39 and 40 Valley Street.
Yes. I'm gonna try to make this simple, because I hate to see us losing money. 39 and 40 are adjacent houses. On Valley Street, they number them consecutively opposed to odd on one side, even on the other. 39 and 40 used to be 2 separate houses. Years ago, it was bought by a Mr. Loper, who turned it into one house. All right? The property was then sold to Kirk Nays. Then the property, we get a call from some Southern belle who says she's buying it. Chelsea somebody or other, Telasco, whoever, yeah, something like that. She's buying it. Well, in the meantime, we keep sending the bills to him because as our last conversation with her, he's still the owner and there's money that's owed on that. So she went in, she was mad because he sold it to her and she didn't know he owed that money, but she's on a payment agreement, she's paying, she's moved back to Florida. Now we find out she's married to him. They've been married for a while.
Married to who?
Kirk.
Oh.
So, but when we talked to her, she said yes, she's going to be the owner, but the estate, they're still drawing up the papers to make it an estate. Okay, it doesn't matter about that. The basic thing is, Mr. Nace got a building permit to turn it back into 2. Only Helen was never sure if he finished it because he never called for a certificate of occupancy. In the meantime, we've had our sleuths going around, and I've talked to the borough who finally sent somebody down, and behold, 39 and 40 are now 2 separate apartments. The borough went in, knows that for sure. There is somebody living in both of them. So we're only billing sewer for 1, okay? Because we didn't know there was another one. It's kind of like Mr. Beamer.
Yeah.
And so I'm suggesting that there's a tapping fee we've lost that on. As I talked to the borough manager when she called me, that's a water tap fee they lost that on.
Well, they provide the water.
Yes, yes, they provide the water. Anyway, what I'd like to do is get permission to send him a letter, an invoice. Well, I'm wondering if we should be, should he pay a tapping fee? Because we did it with Mr. Beamer when he made that apartment down there, and nobody knew about it.
Right.
And we need to, boy, I don't know how long anybody's been living in there, but I really think we ought to hit him for some back months.
I was gonna say, is there any way to find out how long someone's been there?
See, when I first went to the borough, they said that there was only one electric meter or water meter, electric meter, but there are 2 electric
I'm not sure how
meters.
far back without looking, Howard,
Yeah, right.
What?
there may be a limit on how far back you can go, but I think you could bill for
6 months or so?
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
But
No.
But if they use the system, they ought to pay for it.
But does that bill go to him or her?
What's that?
Does the bill go to him?
The bill
or
would
her?
go to him because county still has him
Property.
as the property owner.
Were tapping fees initially paid for 2 units there, or 1, or?
Well, see, now that I don't know.
Okay.
That would be way back.
Way back.
We're talking back when the sewer went through down there.
But it was converted into 1 unit.
At some point, Mr., whose name I've already told you and I now forget, Loper, who's now dead, who's passed away. But Karen has talked to his in-laws, the son and daughter-in-law, who they've seen the apartment, but then when the borough manager called and said somebody from the borough was in, they invited him in to, and that she thinks there's a mother in one and a daughter in another one.
Well, the borough should have records of when they turn the power on, or
Well, the electricity was probably never shut off. I don't know that. Because I would have thought they would have, at first, I went to I called them to see how many water meters there were. I figured that would be there was only 1 water meter. But that would kind of make sense. Anyway, so what he must have done is just gone down to the basement and run everything over and connected into the
the second unit?
connected.
So there's only 1 water meter and
Yes.
serving 2 units?
Yes.
Is that gonna change now?
Well, I don't know that.
Okay.
But now that the borough, that's the borough's problem
Right.
because, even if there's only 1 water meter, it's hooked up.
Right.
Was this like a duplex that was?
It's like a row house. It was
Okay,
one of
so it
those
was converted
old
into
mill
one house.
houses or what, factory house.
Well,
It was probably built when the steel or the iron works ran.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway,
Well, there's definitely two, I mean, that is the same thing as
My-
Louis Beamer's apartment
Where
is.
do you send his bill? You send it to Florida? They should bill to Florida?
yes, she asked us to bill her in Florida. So, see, I've been talking to the borough representatives, and one of them said, you know, when you mentioned her name, it made sense to me. I'm Facebook friends with him, so I looked it up, and there's their wedding picture on there. So, I'd forgotten that I was a Facebook friend of his years ago, and kind of hit him, so I dug it back up, and yep, there they were. In fact, a couple weeks ago, they were down Disney World. So they are married. She has on her Facebook page, married to Kirk Nace.
Last I heard, he was in Brazil. Married some Brazil. Maybe that's her, and they moved back to Florida.
Anyway,
Anyway,
the thing is, I say, you know, here's another case where, you know, either that or we charge them for theft of service.
well, let's,
Do you need a motion?
let's start out with, well, yeah, go ahead, man.
I'll make a motion, we bill them for a tap fee for either 39 or 40 Valley Street, whichever
Well, it
one
would
we
be
don't
39.
have.
No, she said when she's buying it, she's only buying 39. That's what she said. And that 40 was going to be, he was just using it as a mailing address. That's what she told us.
But there is someone occupying that.
According to the borough, when they knocked on the door, yes.
Well, then there should be a surcharge too.
So,
yeah, regular payment too.
so tap fee
So
for
that'd be in a regular payment.
39 and what, 6 months?
Go for 6
Yeah,
months.
go for 6 months.
If they
Okay.
can prove otherwise, then we'll rescind that.
Adjust.
Okay.
That's my motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Done.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
That's a good one.
Second.
Third, oh.
8:30.
I told you that.
Great.